I want to be the one of those people that gets interviewed when they're like at their 100th birthday and everyone's like, how did you do it? What's the secret to life?
What's this? And they're always like, I drank a glass of wine
and
a
I
day.
ate lots of ice cream.
Yeah, it's always something that you're like, great. That's totally
Sure,
doable.
that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Leaders from Asheville and Buncombe County.
From the newsroom to the nursery.
We're juggling a demanding career on live TV with the demands of motherhood.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Karen.
They are AnchorMoms.
Hi, welcome into another episode of AnchorMoms, the podcast. So we're full steam ahead here on the old holiday season.
Yeah, the train's a chugging.
The train is a chugging. So we are in full holiday movie mode in my house.
Okay.
Like it's on. It's on. Really, it's been on since October in my house. Who am I kidding? But River is discovering Home Alone. Have your kids watched Home Alone yet?
So listen, this is funny. Last year we tried to show them Home Alone, just the two big kids, and they got through the first like 5 minutes, and then they were like, nope, can't do it. Can't do it. Mm-mm. It was like the opening scene. Well, first of all, there's a lot of big words, not great words in the opening scene. I forgot.
Well, there's like the word jerk, like that kind of thing.
I feel like there's some worse words.
I don't know.
Maybe
nothing particularly bad. Yeah. Because River will be like, is that a bad word? Is this a bad word? And you're like, it's not that it's a bad word. It's just not a nice word. Yeah. Right.
But then, so there's that whole big opening scene. There's a lot going on. And then there's the first scene where you see like the kind of sketchy neighbor. And you think he's sketchy.
Right.
And through the window and he looks a little bit scary. And our kids were like, nope, done. Neighbor looks scary. We're not ready for this.
I don't know if River is just dead inside or what's happening because she literally loves it. And so she watched.
Right. We wanted them to love it.
She watched. Well, now I'm sick. Now I'm like, no, we got to transition here.
Should we switch? I'll come watch it with her.
So we watched Home Alone 1.
Mm-hmm.
And.
Did you go? Is there a second?
Home Alone 2 in New York?
I've never seen that
Lost in
one.
New York? What?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Is this a thing?
Really?
Is there a third too?
There are, but they're not like the third and fourth don't have Macaulay Culkin in it. Like they're not real. Brian and I say they're not real Home Alone. They're not part of the franchise. Anyway, so she is like, these tricks are crazy, where he sets all the things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then we were like, well, so there's a Home Alone 2. And she was like, what? And I was like, oh yeah, girl, buckle up. So we started watching it. We were 3 minutes into it. And she was like, wait. What? They leave him home alone again? And I was like, yeah, Riv. Like,
is it like an accident again? I don't know the premise.
The fact that you have not seen Home Alone 2 is just
blowing your mind.
I'm just like, I don't even know if I can have this conversation with you. If you're listening to this and you haven't seen Home Alone 2, is this real?
I was like trying to think if there was a second one. And then I was like, no, I think I remember seeing that there's a Home Alone 2.
There's for sure a Home Alone 2. He is lost in New York. He's lost in the plaza. Donald Trump makes a cameo. It's like the 1990s Donald Trump. Yes. So I'm going to highly I'm going to recommend.
Is this your mom's?
1992 Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. You're welcome.
So did River watch
She
the
loves
second
them
one?
both so much so that literally Brian and I are like, it's been like Home Alone
Central.
For the last week. Like I think I can quote all of the Home Alone lines. And we're down to the point where Brian and I are like, how many siblings do these people have? Like, who's the like nieces and nephews and who are the actual, who are like Kevin's siblings? We've been breaking down the wallpaper in the house.
Maybe we should try to give it another go. We really wanted my kids to like it because Gregor and I were like, it's like a more fun Christmas movie than like The Grinch again or whatever.
Yes. So the other thing I wanted to tell you about, I've been sitting on this for a week or two. We watched Frosty the Snowman, the animated version for the 60s. Yeah, the 60s version. Mm-hmm. Do you remember anything about it?
No.
Okay, the little girl's name is Karen.
Oh, God.
And River was like, pause it. Mom, the little girl's name is Karen in this. And I was like, okay. You like Karen, like our friend Karen. And I was like, Karen so well identifies with a 60s
Yeah, the
cartoon.
60s version. And Frosty, you know what's funny about that? We were at a Friendsgiving recently,
Mhm.
and I started talking to somebody, and she said, you know, you kind of introduce yourself, and then you get talking, and then she's like, I'm sorry, what was your name
And
again?
you're like,
and I
oh.
said, Karen. And she goes, oh, she said, yeah, that's what I thought you said when I first met you. But I was thinking, looking at you, thinking, you know, she seems nice.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I was like, oh, yeah. Well, you know, she's like, yeah, I just was thinking when you said that, that can't be because you don't feel like a mean person.
Karens aren't mean.
If you believe the
Frosty Snowman Karen.
Is she mean?
No.
Is she? Okay.
No. Have you watched that recently?
No, I haven't. We haven't
What are you
watched
guys
that
watching over there?
Not Christmas movies.
Oh.
Not yet. No. We need to. You know what we
You know Dasher and Dancer.
You know,
I thought that's right.
No. You know what we've been watching? The Willy Wonkas.
Oh, I don't like I think we had this conversation.
Yeah, you don't like
Willy Wonka creeps me out.
So we watched the newer Willy Wonka that's really not that new, the Johnny Depp one.
Yeah.
And I told you then Bennett put the inside of a Tootsie Roll pop behind her ear as if she was Violet, and it got, of course, stuck in her hair, and we had to cut it out. So that was fun. And then they wanted to watch the old Willy Wonka, the one from our childhood. So we watched that, and they loved that one. We're in our Willy Wonka era.
That's like the phase that you're in.
That's what we're doing.
So Brian and I, in our desperate attempt to get away from Home Alone, but we do enjoy the non-animated movie. Like we're like, okay, are we starting this? Is this like a thing? We tried to get her to watch the Santa Claus, like the Tim Allen.
I don't like that one.
Well, Brian liked it as a kid, but let me tell you, that one dives right in like the parents are divorced.
Oh,
they're like
happening.
Questioning
Santa.
Yes. And I was like, Brian, like that was one where I was like, maybe not.
What about the elf?
Like Elf?
Or Elf, sorry, Elf.
We haven't watched it yet. I need to
My kids have watched that one.
And they like
that
it?
one.
Okay, we did talk about it. We're trying to come up. So if you're listening and you have some non-animated Christmas movie ideas that are appropriate
for children under 10,
please send them our way so we can stop watching Home Alone. Do you want to jump right into our first?
I kind of want to talk more about Home Alone, but I guess we should move on.
Do we need to like unpack that for you?
Well,
the fact that you didn't know there was a Home Alone 2 is.
I know. I feel like I need to.
You really didn't know that?
No. I mean, I remember that, like, seeing the, like, Home Alone 2,
so
seeing that it existed, but I've for sure never seen it.
They're flying to Florida, and instead of Kevin gets on the wrong plane and goes to New York.
I mean, how does that happen, though, really? To poor Kevin again.
That's what River was like, no, Mom. And I wanted to say, I mean, you realize it's Home Alone 2. Like, what did you think was going to happen in Home Alone 2? You know? Took her by surprise. It was a real shocker for her. Our first article.
This one shocked me.
Oh, this made big headlines. It comes from ABC News. And it's the mom arrested after son was reported walking alone. So the bigger issue in this story, and we'll dive in here, is just how much autonomy can and should we give our kids and what's okay and what's not okay. So this mom was arrested and charged with reckless conduct after her 10-year-old walked less than a mile to a store while she was taking one of her other kids to the doctor. So the kid was home alone. He's 10. He ends up walking to a store.
He's since turned 11, though. So he was like an old 10.
Oh, does that matter?
Well, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting because in the article, they were like, he's now 11, by the way.
So 10 on the cusp of 11.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, you know, are you newly 10? Are you whatever?
Yeah. So a witness reported, quote, a juvenile in the roadway who had gone into and left a nearby general store. He didn't steal anything. He didn't create any like riffraff. So, you know, the mom says in her defense, she was annoyed. He didn't tell her where he was going, but she didn't think he was in any danger. So she wasn't overly concerned. And the charges here could be dropped if she signs a safety plan that involves the use of GPS on her son's phone. But she's refusing to sign it because she feels like if she signs it, she's acknowledging that he was in an unsafe situation to begin with. So she's out on bail. She faces up to a year in prison.
This is crazy. Right?
I don't know. I don't know because I don't have a 10-year-old. So I'm sort of on the fence about it. I don't know.
I'm not. I think this is crazy. here's what I think. Think about all the we've
How
talked
old
about.
is Ella? She's 9.
She's 9.
Okay.
Because
I'm trying to think about like kids I know. And it might be kid dependent, by the way. How responsible and how mature is your kid?
Yeah. Here's what I will say is that, we've talked about articles on this podcast of what happens in other countries. And there are kids very young, just doing way more on their own. I think that this odd, and I'm going to almost call it an obsession with the fact that we have to have our kids under a thumb, know exactly where they are at every moment. They can't be outside. I think that that's an America thing. And I think that it's not entirely a good thing. I think that it's okay to let your kids roam a little bit if you trust them and if you're okay with it. And if you know your kid, this kid didn't do anything wrong. And if this mom feels like
he's mature enough.
Right. And she trusts him and if something were to happen, that's on her. Would I let my 10-year-old walk a mile away to the store? No. But maybe they live in a different area. Maybe, who knows the situation. I will say, this scares me. The other day, so our 3 big kids, ride the bus, and it's probably almost a half a mile walk from the bus stop to our house. And I was running late from work. I got stuck in traffic. I had a late meeting. And I had to text the bus driver and be like, are you there yet? Because I could see on the bus tracker that she was getting close. And she's like, yep, I'm at your stop. Where are you? Thank goodness I have the bus driver's number. But I said, I'm not there. Just tell the kids to walk home and they know how to get in the house. So that's what happened. And my 9-year-old, 8-year-old, and 5-year-old were walking in our neighborhood, again, more than a quarter mile by themselves. I showed up right as they were walking, getting home. But could I be arrested?
I don't know.
Is that the same thing? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm not sure. My kids are even younger than this kid, and they were walking by themselves home from the bus stop. Did I feel that they were in danger? No. Everything was fine. But I think there's just...
And is it different if they're walking in numbers, by the way, as well? Is that... Because, would you let Ella Ray walk from the bus by herself home?
Oh, yeah. If she didn't have younger siblings, yeah. Her friends who are her age walk home from the bus stop themselves. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I just think... I think this sets a bad precedent of,
Well, that's what this mom is arguing. Like I said, I guess I want to know more about the situation. What was the road when you have people calling and saying that there's a juvenile, what's the exact juvenile in the roadway? I have some questions about that.
Is it a busy highway?
Yeah, what are we doing? Yeah. But I would say face value, knowing just the things that I know right now, I would say it kind of does seem crazy to charge her.
I think, if this mom feels like it's okay, I do feel like, just having a 9-year-old, I felt like, and this is just arbitrary, my opinion, and I have a daughter as my oldest, so who knows, but I felt like as soon as she hit 9, I saw a huge change in her maturity. I felt like that was kind of like a milestone, and I would trust her now. She can walk to her friend's house in our neighborhood alone.
Well, I did write this down because in other articles, I looked this up because this did make big headlines. By the way, the American Academy of Pediatrics says kids are typically ready to walk alone safely without adult supervision at the age of 10. I think this woman probably has a pretty good case in court. Yeah,
it doesn't feel like was doing anything wrong. Look, as a mom of multiples who's always trying to run around being crazy, I've thought about when can I leave them at home while I'm running so-and-so somewhere else. Sure. So I feel bad for the mom.
I feel bad for the mom, too.
I hope it's not me someday.
And also, you hope you're never in her shoes.
I hope I'm never arrested for my children walking home from the bus alone. Okay, I have a mums. So this came up, Katie, we were talking about this because, and another friend too, about how as people are thinking about Christmas and presents for their kids, trampolines.
Oh.
And so we got our children a trampoline last Christmas, and it has been just such a huge success. And so at the time, I did a lot of research. Now they have kind of the in-ground ones that you can put in, or the ones that we bought, which is not an in-ground, but of course, all of them now have nets. Anyway, I did a lot of research. There's a lot of articles out there on which ones are safest.
Is this your mom's a trampoline?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, I just wanted to pass along our specific trampoline brand because I did the research, and this was the one that to me came up on every single list as a safe one.
Uh-huh.
It's Jumpzilla.
Okay.
Zylla.
Jumpzilla.
But anyway, again, do your own research. You
How much
probably
was it?
would. But so the 14-foot, which I think is what we have. There's also a 16-foot, but I'm pretty sure we have a 14-foot. You can get it right now on Amazon for $379. It's
River does love your
deal.
trampoline, and we have had conversations about a possible Christmas present.
I will say they were a lot cheaper than I thought they'd be. And again, I did a lot of research. Of course, you can spend a lot more money on them. And this was last year that I did the research. But this particular brand, Jumpzilla, popped up on every, there's going to be differences in which article you read, but every single one, it felt like that was the consistent as being a safe one. And I think we got ours. It was definitely less than 500. And they jump on it, I would say, at least every other day.
Yeah. So,
and I should add, it survived the hurricane.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, talk about some.
Right. Brian does want to get River. I'm whispering right now because
River may or may not be
River
in the room beside us.
Our nanny was having a family emergency, and River is here at work with me in the next room. Anyway, we're talking about a trampoline. Like you're like privy to my secret right here now.
Now we're whispering.
Now we're talking about trampoline. We'll see. I'm going to keep you up. That's why I was taking diligent notes because this has been a conversation in our house. Currently, right now, we have trees down and a telephone pole in the middle of our yard. So I said to Brian, like, we might to
clean up the yard.
This might need to be something.
It does
like,
take some space.
Might need to be a birthday present. Like, I just don't know that we're ready to like.
Well, after that conversation, I just wanted to pass along that little nugget.
Well,
that I have done some research, and that seems to be a good brand.
Okay.
And again, it survived the storm. We've had no incidents. We have had probably 20 kids at once on that thing, and it is still going strong. That's safe. So really safe. Probably not, but yeah.
River was probably one of them, by the way. So that's probably
it's a good gift though. Okay, this next article is from iNews. This is out of UK, right? I thought this was funny. The 5 signs you're having a millennial midlife crisis. So this goes into the fact that no one can afford a real midlife crisis anymore because nobody has any money. 20% of people say that they are worse off than their parents' generation. That's crazy. And 70% of people say they've already had a quarter life crisis.
I remember when quarter life crises. I don't
think I had one. Did you?
I don't even
how
feel
old are you?
like
25?
I don't even. Am I like even old enough to have a midlife crisis? That was my thing. That's like the only thing I wrote down for this article. What if I'm just not old enough to have a midlife crisis because I'm not at my midlife yet?
So one of my friends posted this article, and it's gotten a lot of discussion about the fact that we are living in this time where, I mean, A, are we old enough to have one? I don't know. But B, yes, like even if I wanted to have a midlife crisis, what are we going to do? Go out and buy like a
Lamborghini?
Convertible?
Yeah,
no, like I don't.
Only men have midlife crises. I think
women do. I think a lot of my friends are having a millennial.
What do they
midlife
do?
Crisis.
What's
I think
happening?
They quit their job.
Oh,
yeah, I think that's the thing. I think you just like reevaluate. I think it looks much different for men and women, right? I think men go out and buy a car or a second house or maybe have an affair, hopefully not, weird things. But I do think that women, and I think especially just speaking from my friend group, I think there's a lot of people who kind of hit 40 and we're like, whoa, what am I doing with my life? What's happening? I think this is a thing.
But not in the way, but you're saying we can't afford it. So not in the way that you traditionally think about a midlife crisis.
Right. So then it goes through these 5 signs that you should know, which these are hilarious. Basically, these are signs that like we're too poor to have a real midlife crisis.
Or that like you're in crises if you're a millennial and doing these things.
Right. Drinking cow's milk.
Right. Because everybody, some of these I was like, oh, this is me. Like I rarely, like I always order my lattes with oat milk. Or almond milk is my second choice. Cow's milk is pretty far down there.
Making real phone calls.
Hold on. We got it. Yeah. Hi. Come on in. I know. Can you just listen to your iPad, watch your iPad a little bit longer? Okay. You want to sit in here with us?
You can come sit in here and listen.
Sit. Come on. Oh, are you going to come sit? Okay. This doesn't screw up our. Go ahead. You come on. Okay. That's a bad idea.
No.
Okay.
Hey,
You gotta sit
River.
right here.
We've got a special guest in studio today, Little River.
Okay.
Do you want to start that article over or should we just keep going?
No, I think we should just keep going.
Okay. Making phone calls, which I know you love.
I do not like to make phone calls.
You hate making phone calls.
Yeah.
Every time I call you, I'm like, oh, sorry.
Sorry
to call.
me. And
sorry
if
to
I call
Katie.
you, you know it's like a fire alarm.
Well, usually when we call each other, it's because one of us is driving or it's like some long thing we have to hash out.
You did text me the other week and you said, we got to make plans for this Saturday. Can you call me? I'm driving. Like it was, you had to make sure. Yeah.
I'm not doing this on
Otherwise,
for any
I
other
would
reason.
never ask you.
Using a plastic water bottle, which this one caveat, we just lived through a hurricane. We had a lot of plastic water bottles for a while because we didn't have any drinking water. Talking like a normal person.
We talk like
in
normal
real life.
People.
I do think we do. I think we do, but I think a lot of younger millennials don't.
It's like the things that they're saying millennials say is my truth or beginning every thought with I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Going on holiday without posting about it online.
Yes.
I don't post about it.
You don't post about it?
So yeah, it's just kind of a funny list if you feel like you're, and I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of in this phase. You know, I feel like you get to that point where you're 40, you're done having kids, you've got this career.
You're like, okay, now what?
And it's like, yeah, like now what? Like, is this, what's the next thing?
What's the next thing?
I think we're so inclined as millennials to keep like pushing forward to get this or that or whatever. Right. And then you get to this point and you're kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I think for women it's different than men, but I think that this is.
No, I think this is true. I'm telling you, but as I'm doing the calculations, it's like I'm 41.
But you're thinking age-wise. I'm living past 80, so like what? We're
I
not
don't
there
know,
yet.
but maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. It's
You always say you don't need to live to 100.
You don't need to. Do you think you want to live to 100?
I would love to, but I know you don't want to. Yeah.
No. Why? Wait.
I don't know.
I didn't know this about you. You want to live to
I want to be the one of those
100?
people that gets interviewed when they're like at their 100th birthday and everyone's like, how did you do it? What's the secret to life?
What's this? And they're always like, I drank a glass of wine.
Yeah, and I ate lots of ice cream.
Yeah, it's always something that you're like, great. That's totally
sure. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
All right, one more article. This one's a good one.
This is a good one.
This.
Okay. So
speaking of millennials, we're not on TikTok,
this is from the
folks,
this is from the New York Post. And I got to get my stuff all right here. This is from the New York Post. And this is Christmas gift ideas inspired by TikTok.
So you're not on TikTok.
I'm not on TikTok. I
And
do
I'm
occasionally
not on
visit TikTok.
Yeah, we're not TikTokers, but I do think, and I've heard from a lot of people, that there are a lot of good
These were good gifts.
ideas.
Did you think they were good?
I think these were great,
Okay.
but I think TikTok spawns a lot of good things. I don't feel like I need to be on it, but I feel like it's like the impetus for some good things.
So there's some good ones on here, and it's they've compiled a list from the coziest shoes, budget-friendly household essentials, to heartwarming goods. I like these lists, and I will sometimes even visit them just to see what I should get. I highlighted a couple of the ones that I liked. The Lululemon bag, I thought people would like.
Everybody has that, yeah.
Everybody does have that. The Adidas Samba OG women's sneaker. I'm in my sneaker era.
I knew you would talk about that one.
So I am loving these. Of course, I like some of the. They have a couple of different colors, so I highly recommend. I don't know, and I think these are on Amazon. You can get them for $168. Not cheap, but if it's something that you know somebody is going to like I'm always like, I'll spend the money if I'm getting like just one thing. I do love these Samba sneakers. Yeah.
I'm just looking back and realizing that every single thing I wrote down has to do with food.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, it's funny. Everything
apparently I was hungry.
I highlighted are clothes or like clothes or shoes.
Okay, so there you go. The flavored espresso martini gift set I thought would be a fun gift for somebody. The hot honey chili crunch sounded delicious to me. I also love the little mini maker for waffles.
Okay.
Do you guys have that? Do you have a waffle maker?
River, you like the waffle maker. Don't we have a mini waffle maker?
I think that would be
a
big hit in our house.
Yeah, she's nodding her head. Yeah.
Should I get one, River, for our kiddos to make waffles?
Yeah.
Yeah. River approved. There you have it.
There you go. Yeah.
But anyway, if you're looking for some fun things and you're not on TikTok, but you want to kind of steal some of the ideas, this is a good list. We'll put it in our show notes.
I just need to say this. Okay. All right. Go ahead. If you're just listening to the podcast, River came in here and sat with us, but now she's officially bored of the podcast and she's going somewhere else. I like the UGG platform ones, the boots, the single UGG boots.
Oh, those are cute.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're kind of expensive too, but they're like so cute. And they're super on trend.
Mm-hmm.
So those are our recommendations.
And if you have friends you're trying to buy or siblings, whoever, it's just a good list.
Right. Okay. So my win is just we officially moved home and I'm so thankful to be home at our house. Mm-hmm. We are about to put our Christmas decorations up in our plywood dumpster fire of a house right now.
You should let River paint the plywood.
So River has lots of opinions
on the plywood?
Just about painting the house. She thinks we should paint the house red. Sometimes she thinks it should be purple.
The plywood could come down at any time,
That's true.
So you should let her paint the plywood whatever she wants.
We could. Yeah, I'm just glad to be home. I am glad I'm like just thankful that we have a home after all of the Helene and hurricane damage. It's just like I just find myself, I turned to Brian yesterday and I was like, I know our house is a mess, but I'm just so glad to be home and back in our neighborhood. This might even have been my win last week, but I'm like riding the wave. I'm serious. I'm riding the wave. And an architect came to our house.
Yay.
We are starting the process. I just ordered some tile samples, which I got very excited about this morning. Yeah. So progress. Mm-hmm. Progress.
It does feel so good to be home.
Yep.
Like no matter what, your home is your home.
Exactly. No matter what it looks like.
Yes. Yep. And being there for the holidays especially. Well, yay. That's a huge win. All right. We hope everyone has a great week. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys. Anchor Moms is a Sinclair podcast produced out of WLOS in Asheville. We're your hosts, Katie Killen and Karen Zakalek. Anchor Moms is edited by Matthew Yates.
For more information on the topics discussed in this episode and to stay up to date on future episodes, follow us on Instagram @AnchorMoms.
You can follow Anchor Moms on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Know a parent who could benefit from this week's Anchor Moms episode? Your recommendations help our show to grow, so spread the word.